Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks in a large part to our pals at the VFS School of Game Design. Thank you so much, Vancouver Film School. Today's rundown is dedicated to Chris Stasis, who says he's been watching us since we were on City TV and that I've been doing this a long time. Yes, I have, Chris. Thanks for sticking with me. This rundown is all yours. The next Fast and Furious movie is putting on the brakes. Universal Pictures has delayed the release of the upcoming 9th film in the series by more than a year. It was originally scheduled to speed into theaters in spring 2019, but will now arrive on April 10th, 2020. The studio hasn't revealed why they delayed the film, but this will obviously give them more development time. The film is also yet to be given a director, so this means that whoever takes the job won't have to rush. Universal likely wants to take the time to make sure that the new movie is as crowd-pleasing as it can be. The Fast franchise has become their biggest moneymaker, with this year's Fate of the Furious earning more than $1.2 billion worldwide. The franchise is also very important to Universal for another reason. It tends to be even more popular with international audiences than it is here in North America, overperforming in emerging markets like China, which is a crucial factor given the dwindling domestic film attendance in general. Expect the international box office to be even more important by the time 2020 rolls around. Thanks to modern cell phone makers, it looks like future generations won't know jack about headphone jacks. Google has announced the Pixel 2, the second-generation model of their first-party Android smartphone. You know the drill. It has a slightly better screen, a slightly better camera, and a few minor software enhancements like a more responsive Google Assistant, the kind of stuff you usually get with a new smartphone. There is one noticeable thing missing, though. This time around, Google has done away with the standard headphone jack, which means that, like Apple's recent iPhones, you won't be able to plug in wired headphones without an adapter. That, or go wireless. With Apple and now Google abandoning headphone jacks, don't be surprised if other smartphone makers like Samsung start jumping ship as well. The Google Pixel 2 hit stores October 19th. It starts at $649 US for the unlocked model. The makers of the hit animated series Bob's Burgers are cooking up something big. With the show just starting its 8th season on Sunday, 20th Century Fox has announced that they're making a big screen movie.
Yes!
Creator and executive producer Lauren Bouchard is overseeing the adaptation, and like the series, it will focus on the adventures of Bob Belcher and his family. In a statement, Bouchard says that the movie will take the characters on their most epic adventure yet and promises that it will satisfy the cravings of longtime fans and also work for all the new audiences that have never seen the show. That's a tall order that's going to be hard to fill, so hopefully they pull it off. 20th Century Fox says they're bringing Bob's Burgers to theaters because they want to double down on their number of animated movies and also tell more stories that appeal to family audiences. The show, although it has its share of raunchy humor, has a heartwarming core based around the family relationship between the main characters. Pretty much every Fox animated show has used this formula since The Simpsons launched almost 30 years ago.
Well, that doesn't sound very erotic, which is totally fine.
The Bob's Burgers movie is slated to hit theaters in summer 2020.
All right, we gotta go. Everyone lift the camera on the count of 3. 1, 2.
Nintendo is turning a new page in their quest to branch out into all kinds of entertainment. The gaming giant is teaming up with Dark Horse Comics for a new graphic novel based on their recent Switch fighting game, ARMS. It's slated to hit shelves in fall 2018, and the cover art is drawn by Joe Ng, who worked on the comic adaptation of another fighting game, Street Fighter. The ARMS comic isn't the only collaboration between Dark Horse and Nintendo. They also recently announced a 320-page Legend of Zelda encyclopedia, which hit shelves in spring 2018. Nintendo has been branching out into new kinds of entertainment in recent years, hoping to use their valuable characters in more than just games. They're working with Universal Studios to create Nintendo-themed worlds for Universal theme parks in Japan and the US. They've also hinted several times that they're developing new movies and TV shows featuring their characters, which is something they were reluctant to do for decades after the terrible reception of the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie. The first new movie inspired by a Nintendo property will be Detective Pikachu, based on the Pokemon spin-off. That's being produced by Universal and Legendary Pictures and will hit theaters in the next few years. Apparently, it's a lot easier being an assassin in ancient Egypt than it is in more modern times. Ubisoft has announced that Assassin's Creed Origins is getting an adjustable difficulty setting, the first in the series. Players will be able to decide just how difficult they want the game to be before they start playing, and you'll also be able to change it dynamically after you've started. So if you get stuck on a particular mission, you can always make it easier. Game director Ashraf Ismail tells the fan site Assassin Central that they're doing this to make the game more enjoyable for casual players. He points out that some people play the game for its historical context and narrative, so it was a natural step for them to give those players the option of making the combat and stealth a little less challenging. This is separate from the Discovery Tour mode that was announced last week, which will remove the combat altogether and is aimed at teachers who want to use the game to give students a feel of the historical setting. Thankfully, hardcore players who want to test their skills will be able to crank up the difficulty in the main game. The concept of adjustable difficulty settings has seen a lot of discussion recently. Some games are extremely challenging by design, and many developers feel that allowing players to change the difficulty setting would fundamentally change their artistic vision. Apparently, the makers of Assassin's Creed Origins don't feel the same way. The game arrives October 27th. That does it today for me and for the rundown from one of my favorite California cities, San Luis Obispo. I'm having an amazing time here. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new rundown for you. In the meantime, if you'd like to learn more about game design, visit our pals at VFS.edu. And you know we've got tons of other videos for you to check out. Please do that, and if you dig it, hit subscribe.